Florida is set to execute its first inmate in 4 years tomorrow. Governor Ron DeSantis signed a death warrant on Monday for David Dillbeck, the 59-year-old convicted on multiple murder charges. Our WPTV's Joe Lopez is in the studio now with a closer look at what Dillbeck is accused of.
Honey, the 59-year-old was only 15 when he killed the deputy in Fort Myers, and then 11 years later stabbed and killed a woman in Tallahassee. A murder case over 3 decades old will come to an end on Thursday, as a man convicted, David Dillbeck, is set to be executed.
It's always a historic moment in time if and when a state decides to execute. It's still considered a rarity, if you will, of a sentence.
In 1973, court records say Dillbeck was confronted by a Lee County deputy in Fort Myers. Records say he later grabbed the deputy's gun, shot, and killed him. He then served 11 years of a life sentence in North Florida, but later escaped to Tallahassee, where he bought a knife, killed a woman, then stole her car.
It really does create the finality, if you will, for these families who have gone through, sadly, tragically, an experience of having a loved one murdered.
On Monday, Governor Ron DeSantis signed his death warrant after 30 years of waiting. He lost his final appeal this week. A time-frame criminologist Debbie Goodman says is pretty average.
Why would you say it took this long to get to this point?
It could be new evidence. It could be what we call a Brady violation, whereby there could be reason to believe that the state, the prosecution, withheld evidence. Some inmates become very disenfranchised with their own legal representation, and they seek incompetence, therefore wanting new attorneys.
Goodman says right now in Florida, there are over 300 inmates on death row waiting for processing, and expects more executions to come.
It is the ultimate deterrent. See, that's another reason why we have it, to ensure that an individual would not be in a capacity or position to ever repeat the crime.
Dillbeck's execution by lethal injection is scheduled for 6 p.m. tomorrow, Honey.
Joel, thank you. And here's more in-depth coverage. Since 1976, Florida has executed 99 convicted murderers. More than 300 offenders are currently on death row awaiting execution.